Hey everybody, Robert Hunt from ArtTop10.com. A few weeks ago I had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing Trevor Nicholson. Trevor is the founder of 100 Artists, a new online art gallery. As the name suggests, it's looking to do something slightly different to many of the others. Obviously loads of the other online art galleries have thousands and thousands of artists, but 100 Artists wants to do things a little differently and, have a slightly smaller roster of artists. Anyway, I think it's an interesting interview because not only do you get to hear about that, but you also get to, see the man behind one of these online art galleries, what drives him, what motivates him and the things he's interested in. And, sometimes I think the online art galleries, you don't really know who it is you're dealing with. So, this is a nice way to really, get to see the person behind it. Anyway, so enjoy. What makes 100 Artists special?
The first thing is that there are only 100 artists. My experience of research for most online art galleries is that they do precisely the opposite. They make a big point of having thousands of artists, and I think it must be very hard for the buyer to select what they want and for the artist to be noticed. We just want to be a little slower, people take their time, maybe get to know the artist a bit better, maybe look at a video around their studio. Do they paint in Cumbria or Hackney or Wimbledon, and how does that geography, how does that stimulate them?
And would you like to have a personal relationship with every one of your 100 artists?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we all would, and that's the other thing, is to grow the family of people that work in the business, and I think it's just fun.
Do you feel 100 Artists are trying to sort of take away that pretension, take away that confusion of the art world?
Yes, we are trying. We're not on a crusade really, but it's just, I think that we'd like to appeal to people that just don't want all of that. It's nice to have the background and to understand an artist, know where they come from, what inspires them, or all of that. It's really interesting, and you can spend a long time doing that. What's not so interesting for me is just what you ought to like.
So in a way, you want to inspire artists?
Yes, I'd love for them to believe that there's a niche for them in this huge world of commercial art, because there will be. It's a bit. I love my rugby, and the great thing about rugby is that there's a position for every shape and size on the field. That's one of the best things about the game, and there really is at most levels. And I think it's the same for art. I'd love to encourage. Inspire's a big word, and I wouldn't pretend to do that, but I'd love to encourage them to just ask a few questions and say, well, maybe would it be better if it was a little bit bigger or smaller or whatever? How can I fit into this? Because there will be a place for everybody.
I think what's nice about the way you're building 100 Artists is your interest in the artist and their environment, everything that inspires them.
We have something on the website called Artist Stories, and it's not supposed to be pretentious. They're just ordinary stories from ordinary people that somehow have made them become an artist, or sometimes it's something terrible that's happened in their lives. All sorts of things make us do that, and sort of push away from the norm maybe. And that's just interesting. It's fascinating, isn't it? And it's fascinating to see what they then produce. And we're encouraging all of our artists to just give us a story. You get more than one. What happened to you? When you were painting that? Were you plein air? And then sort of lots of people came up behind you, or a flock of sheep came up. Anything. It could be anything, but it's just more than decoration. A lot of people ask us about the investment value of art. I understand broadly how that works, and how some galleries really do advise people on the investment potential, but the investment potential seems to me to depend more on a kind of celebrity culture than the art, and so how it's promoted, what cocktail parties you go to, which gallery owners you're friendly with, and then suddenly you're an art celebrity, and I'm not too interested in that.
So tell me about the artists you love, because obviously you love art.
I really do love art and colour, and like big things, big splashes and so on, which is Hockney obviously. I think we've all grown up with Hockney. I notice actually in all of the art we've looked at, there's a bit of Hockney in lots of it, you know. I think people, and I love that. It's obvious that guy has a lot of talent, and he's led us all, really. My background really is more in printmaking.
Okay.
So screen print, big bold colour. Patrick Caulfield.
Lovely.
Amory Lacane, with some really nice, and I think that I'm slightly suspicious of giclée prints now. I know a lot of people have said that, you know, yes, they're genuine and they're sort of original, but they're not a craft in the same way as I think lithography or screen printing. I was lucky to be in a great art department at Seven Oaks School with a fantastic teacher. So we all made some prints, and I really like the medium, and it's unlimited, really, and it is a genuine medium in itself.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. You've got quite an interesting take on how interior designers could be a part of 100 Artists.
30 years ago when I had the business, which was an art consultancy, we did most of our business was with international interior designers who had projects all over the world. Our first ever project was in Muscat, the Intercontinental. It's an extensive project, and so there are 350 guest rooms, and there are public rooms and restaurants and so on. What we used to be asked to do is to work with interior designers and develop a theme. Maybe it doesn't have to all be the same or matching or anything else, but there'd be a consistency about it, which is almost like a mega installation, one that people will see and use and stay in the guest room with often a screen print that's been replicated 200 times in an edition, but that might be in different colorways or even different. Sometimes there'd be etchings in one and lithographs in the other. When we did the Durban Hilton in South Africa, they wanted some sort of a nod to the Drakensberg cave paintings, which are local. So they had a vaulted hall lobby before they even talked about atria, but that's pretty much what it was. And they didn't want lots of pictures. They wanted to effectively put original wallpaper on the wall right above the reception area and so on. The artist that I proposed was just fantastic at it, and it worked. So we had it all painted in London, rolled up and taken and stuck on the wall in South Africa.
That gives me a whole new take on interior designers. I never really thought of it as quite such a creative process.
I think it's the classic creative process because it's two-way. So that, you know, the artist is taking some inspiration from the geography of the hotel, from the interior designer's ideas. Bearing in mind that a lot of five-star hotels tend to be very glitzy and goldy and chandelier-y. So sometimes the art's job is to just pull it all back down to earth a little bit.
Oh, intriguing, actually.